Hello, I'm going to talk on this video about what is missing. This is what is missing. What you are hearing is what is missing. What you're seeing is what is missing. And if you have any feeling, what you're feeling is what is missing. Yeah. So tomorrow there's going to be this big demonstration, the No King demonstration. It's a total nonsensical concept, and it's of course going to get really rowdy. But the bottom line is the Democrats have gone totally nuts, and they just want to scream and they just want to scold. But they have absolutely lost all sense of decency, a sense of normalcy, a sense of politeness. It's unbelievable how they continue to call everybody who is on the right a fascist or Hitler, Nazi. No, that's not gonna work. So if you happen to be one of the crazy lefties, here I am letting you hear what embodied language sounds like and what it looks like and what it is also like to speak content-wise in such a way that what you say is determined by how you say it. Yeah? And so what I say is obviously determined by how I say it. And how do I say what I say? Well, I say it in the way that I like to say it, in the way that I want to say it, in the way that I enjoy saying it. Yeah? In the way also that I am allowing myself to say it, because look where I am. I'm here on my morning bicycle ride, and I am here in this situation where I'm saying what I'm saying. So I've created, in a sense, also a situation in which I can say what I'm saying right now. Yeah, I mean, of course, this situation is here, and I went outside of the house and I got on my bicycle, but it all is part of this conversation. And I create also with my sound, the sound of my well-being, yeah, because I feel good. There's nothing bothering me here. Nobody is troubling me. I'm not troubled by anything. I just feel fantastic. It's a beautiful day. And I have a day off also, so that's nice too. Yeah. So I have a nice sound because, yeah, my autonomic nervous system is not in a fight, flight or freeze response. No. I don't feel threatened. Nothing is bothering me, nothing is irritating me, nothing is upsetting me. I am just happy. And that's what I sound like. And so what I am saying right now is determined by that sense of well-being. Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah. So what I am able to come up with when I'm feeling really good and happy and satisfied, and yeah, there's many reasons for me to be satisfied, by the way. There's very many reasons for me to feel vindicated. There's many reasons for me to be proud. and having a sense of accomplishment, because I have put together the difference between these two different ways of talking, one of which I'm demonstrating to you right now, which is called embodied language, in which a speaker, in this case me, in which a speaker listens to him or herself while he or she speaks. Yeah, I listen to myself while I speak, and that's why I have embodied language. And I have, you could say, explored and also I have defined and described and explained the difference between this way of talking, which I call embodied language once again, ongoing embodied language. The difference between this and disembodied language, in which, good morning, in disembodied language, a speaker doesn't listen to him or herself while he or she speaks. And that is our common way of talking. Yeah. I have described it, and I have done that so thoroughly, so effectively, so consistently, that I am by now, you could say, completely at ease with the fact that nobody is getting this, because I'm getting this more than ever before. I'm not concerned about whether other people are getting this. I know that I'm getting this, and this is what I do. I talk like this, and I will continue to talk like this. And people can also learn on their own how to be like this, how to talk like this. And that's what hopefully is going to happen. We'll see. I'm not too concerned about it, to tell you the truth. I have been in the past, and I felt it was my responsibility or something. I felt it was my goal to change the world. No, I'm not changing the world. I'm not changing anybody. I have changed my own life. I've changed myself. And that's where it stays. That's where it's at. And that difference between disembodied language and embodied language is, of course, there. Yeah. Because in disembodied language, in which you do not listen to yourself, there's also a reason why you don't listen. Because, you are fearful, you are upset, you're stressed out, you are distracted, you're all these things. You're totally messed up. You're traumatized also, and you are completely deluded. That too. You can't get it right with your disembodied language, in which you do not listen to yourself while you speak. So, so you don't sound good. You sound horrible. And what you're saying is even worse, because you sound horrible and you're saying horrible things. That's just the nature of disembodied language. So I'm going to walk here to talk some more about what is missing, because what I'm talking about is what is missing. Yeah. It's not missing in my life. I have it. And beautiful sky, nice clouds. And this too is missing. Yeah? It's not just what I'm showing here, this sky or this landscape, or me per se, this picture of me, my face, No, it is the fact that when I do not speak, there is no language. Because I do not believe what you believe. I do not believe in the illusion of inner language that you believe in because of your disembodied language. I don't have inner language. I don't believe in it. I don't have it. Yeah, I don't have it. So there's no need to not believe in it. I just don't have it. There are no words inside of me. I wrote, by the way, a beautiful version of the song by Kurt Cobain. Maybe you know that song, the song Lithium, it's called. Yeah, I will record it maybe today or tomorrow. Anyways, it came out pretty good. And I will play it on my ukulele. Yeah. Yeah, it sounds, it is a little different than the way he sings it, but I felt like I wanted to use that song to write my own text to it, and it came out pretty good. Feeling very satisfied about that. Yeah. So yeah. So what I was just saying is that what is missing is also this spaciousness. Yeah. This spaciousness that can only be there when we are certain that language is an overt phenomenon. Language is, was, and will always be an overt phenomenon. There is no covert inner language. It doesn't exist. And so your mind, your thoughts, your internal dialogue is just a fancy created by the way in which you talk, in which you can never fully express yourself. Yeah, that's what I call your individually lived experience. You can never express your individually lived experience with your disembodied language. It's impossible because you do not listen to yourself. So that spaciousness that comes with embodied language is completely missing. And that is the true nature of language. The true nature of language, of course, is the fact that language is overt. It is spoken, it is heard, it is written, and it is read. And that's it. There is no inner language. There never was. There never will be. And so what is missing also is the beauty, the beauty, the spaciousness, the rest, the peacefulness. And what is missing is, of course, also the understanding. The understanding that all our problems are problems of language. Once we snap out of our disembodied language, once we recognize that, I wasn't listening to myself. Once you begin to experiment by talking out loud with yourself, I'm walking here by myself, I'm on this path by myself with my bicycle in my hand. I'm walking here, You can do that. You can walk somewhere. You can be somewhere where you talk out loud with yourself, just like I do right now. And when you tell yourself what it is like to listen to yourself, I used to be a psychology instructor, and I gave every semester 3 classes, 3 courses, yeah, to a very diverse group of students. And I did that for 9.5 years. And all these students, they got the same assignment at the beginning of the course. They got the assignment. Of course, I had already spoken a little bit about the difference between embodied language and disembodied language. I had already explained a little bit how everything is determined by our disembodied language, because that is what is going on everywhere. There's no embodied language anywhere because people do not know the difference between disembodied language and embodied language. And therefore, we are always, whether we know it or not, whether we admit it or not, whether we acknowledge it or not, whether we are conscious about it or not, we are always having disembodied language. Yeah. You do not listen to yourself while you speak. You've never done it. And so when you begin to do that, when you begin to walk like me somewhere, you begin to talk with yourself and say to yourself, yeah, oh yeah, this was the assignment that I gave to my students. The assignment was, it starts with the sentence, it starts with one sentence. The assignment starts with the sentence, when I listen to the sound of my voice while I speak, then I... And then they have to finish that sentence and they have to write a 1-page paper about, yeah, what happens when they talk out loud with themselves and they listen to themselves. And all my students wrote the most fantastic papers where they had their first taste of what it is like to have embodied language. Just like that, without any exercise. Without any other preparation than few words that I had spent on it, because my courses were not about embodied language. My courses were just about mainstream psychology. You could say it was quite slanted towards behaviorism, because I have a background of also studying behaviorism. And so, yeah, behaviorism is of course all about operant conditioning and about the contingency of reinforcement in which a behavior can occur, because yeah, there is an environment in which that behavior is reinforced. Yes. and in which that behavior is stimulated and possible. And in which that behavior is quite likely going to happen. The probability of me walking here and having this kind of behavior is quite high. Yeah, because it's just such a beautiful surrounding, and if I pay attention to myself, that is such a good thing to do actually, because by listening to yourself, you begin to pay attention to yourself. So it's almost like you begin to practice a sense of self-care that is completely missing in disembodied language. So yeah, my students, they wrote the most beautiful papers, starting with that one sentence. When I speak out loud with myself and I listen to the sound of my voice, then they wrote 1 page, sometimes even more than 1 page, about what it is like to hear themselves speak. And many of them, they told me that they had never ever done that. This is a real eye-opener, and it stayed with them the whole semester, because it was at the beginning of the semester that I did this assignment, and all my students kept referring to this one seminal experience that they had, which made the class so personal, because by introducing them to the issue of embodied language, everything became personal. Yeah. So that's another thing that is missing, in our lives, that we can be personal, which means we can be authentic, which means we can be sincere. We can be truthful, and that also, of course, involves being accurate with our language about our individually lived experience. Yeah, without that language fitting with our individually lived experience, there is no such a possibility. Hello. Hello. Hello, how are you today? Hello. Yeah.
This is very unfamiliar.
That's okay. Yeah. It's so nice to walk here. So yeah, in this semester, in the assignment, my students they had an experience of what had been missing until that moment in their lives, and sometimes I still run into some of these students who remember this particular aspect about my teaching. But I'm no longer teaching. I've completely withdrawn from teaching. I am not in any way busy trying to get anybody to do anything. I'm simply doing what I want to do. And what I want to do is to just speak about embodied language and tell everybody what is missing. Because that is the only way that you can actually begin to feel how dissatisfied you are, how upset you are, how stressed you are, how stupid you are also. Because the fact that you cannot reset, that you cannot relax, that you cannot chill the fuck out, because that's all part of it. That you keep being so uptight and hateful and all that. It all is a lack of intelligence, a lack of also a lack of skill. That's also missing. This is the skill to self-care, the skill to attend to yourself, the skill to use your language correctly. Because I would say, if there is such a thing as individualism, which means that it is just about me and what is good for me, and I mean good for me in a positive sense, I mean, of course, people have perceived all kind of things good for them, but it was not good for them. They believed it was good for them, but it wasn't. And so people have in their selfishness done all sorts of things, in the egoism or whatever you want to call it, They've done all kinds of things and they've justified their behavior because, they felt like it and they had to do it and whatnot. Or they were driven by whatever, motivation or not, or whatever. But you know what? It wasn't good. Because if what you do works for you, you are happy. You sound good. You look at this here. Isn't that pretty? I love this area, this gorge here. It's like my favorite spot. That's why I also go here, to just be here. And here it is. You don't want to fall in there because it's hard to get out. I would say it may take a long time before somebody finds you. Anyways, what's missing is embodied language in people, their lives. And I have acquired my own embodied language. I continue with my own embodied language. And so I reap the consequences of my embodied language. And all my other behaviors are adjusted to and made possible by and supported by my embodied language. And that's not the case for you. For you, all your ineffective behavior, all your self-defeating behavior is of course created by and maintained by and supported by your disembodied language, because you do not listen to yourself while you speak. So what is missing? Yeah, this is also what is missing. What is missing for you, you are now listening to me, and you now hear the truth, you hear what is really going on. But what is missing in your life is an account of what is really going on. A verbal account. Yeah? A correct verbal account of who you are. And so embodied language is the correct way of expressing your individualism. And the positive outcomes are tantamount. Yeah? The positive outcomes are jubilant, are victorious, are magnificent. Yeah, I experienced these, and there's every reason for me to be proud of that, because nobody else is doing this for me. I'm doing this for myself, in spite of the fact that the whole world is determined by disembodied language, and I have also had to take a lot of, you could say, disappointments. I had to face a lot of rejection, because people do not want to acknowledge that this is possible, that this is true. And as long as I was still trying to get other people to do this, I was frustrating myself, and I inadvertently again and again going into disembodied language. But I don't seem to be doing that anymore, or at least almost I don't do that anymore. I mean, maybe once in a blue moon I still am triggered by something, but for the most part I am like this. So I can say this is what is missing, and it doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter whether you're a Christian or a Jew or a Muslim. This is what is missing, and it doesn't matter whether you're a Republican or whether you are a Democrat. This is what is missing. Yeah. And this has nothing whatsoever to do with any kind of religious belief, but it does have to do with politics. Look, politics is, of course, what creates the situation for people to be free. Yeah, that's how Western civilizations, Western cultures have been created, where individuals have freedoms. And so my freedom is not separate from the fact that people have fought for this freedom and people have died for this freedom, and I am grateful to those who have done what it took for others to have the freedom of speech. Yeah. And in the Second World War, Europe was liberated by the Allied forces, mainly Americans, but also Canadians, British. Yeah. And if it wasn't for the fact that they were liberated, I don't know what would have happened. But we know what happens when thugs, when autocrats, when dictators, when regimes take over. There is no freedom, and in most places in the world there is no freedom for the individual in the way that there is freedom in Western civilized countries. And these Western civilized countries, America is just one of these Western, all of Europe, Australia, and also, of course, other countries that have become democratized, where more freedom has been given to people to express themselves, to be themselves, to determine their own lives. the more freedom people have, the more responsibility they also have as individuals, to do what they need to do to live a good life as an individual. And if they keep being stuck in negativity, then they're not responsible, or they're not behaving responsibly. And as long as you blame others and you keep, demanding from other people that they should be like this or they should be like that, otherwise you cannot be happy, because your happiness derives from whether they approve of you, whether they do as you tell them to do, whether you can supposedly dominate them, and your way of dominating other people, is that your happiness? No, it's not your happiness. It never was, and it was never your freedom either. You dug your own grave, basically, psychologically, by being busy with all of that, and by trying to be so on top of it, and by trying to be so in control, you haven't acquired your own freedom as an individual. You haven't acquired your embodied language. So your freedom is lacking, even though you have it, supposedly. Your freedom is lacking because the language of freedom, the language of individual freedom, is lacking. Now, all of this is missing. And how am I able to express it? I am able to express it because I have it. And I have it without any effort, without any pretense, without any kind of approval. I mean, I've given myself the PH me. Not the PhD, but the PH me. I am a doctor of me. Not a doctor of science. No, a doctor of who I am. I'm a doctor of language. And you could call me a language doctor, perhaps. I don't mind. I don't have a mind. I just like to talk about these things, and I talk about it in the way I want to. And that's what my embodied language is. It doesn't require anyone's approval. And if you were to explore what it is that I'm saying, you would acquire your embodied language, and you and I would be able in 2026, after the 4th of July, Independence Day, when we celebrate the 250th birthday of the United States, then we celebrate with our embodied language the golden era of America, the golden era of individual freedom. Let's put it that way. I like it. It is international, And individual freedom, you may have it, and in Western European countries and in America, people have individual freedom. Whether you use it or not is a question that remains to be answered. But most people don't have individual freedom. So what are you going to do with it? You're going to scream and shout? Are you going to, going to be an agitator, a protester? Or are you going to be like me? Or like me, are you going to have embodied language, where you are grateful, where you are happy, where you are clear about what's going on, and where you are contributing to this world with your understanding, because this understanding that I'm expressing to you is what is missing, and you can pretty much piggyback on what I'm saying. You know, I've posted on my X account. You can go there if you want to read it. Also on my Substack. Substack is called Maximus Peppercamp Embodied Language, and my X account is called, well, you have to look it up. I will print a little message underneath the video. But on my X account I have explained that that embodied language is totally yours. So, is your language of your individual freedom. And are you gonna have that language? I hope you are. I am continuing with it. Wait. I already have it. And I'll continue with it. Going to walk again. It's interesting how walking makes me move slower. It allows me to catch up with myself better when I'm riding my bicycle. I may be going too fast, or going too fast for my own liking. Let me put it this way. I have a need to go slow. Yeah. And yeah. Oh, on my X account, I wanted to also say about that on my X account I've posted a whole bunch of adagias. Yeah, adagias, those are little sayings, little quotations, if you will. I was having this conversation with Grok, the XAI, the artificial intelligence, and I was discussing with Grok the importance of listening to ourselves, and discussing how all of this is completely ignored, and you know, people are busy with all kinds of other things except with speaking with themselves and listening to themselves, right? So I asked Grok to produce for me, or for everybody to read, 21 adagias to characterize embodied language, or characterize the difference between disembodied language and embodied language. And Grok did such a great job, just putting it in, you could say, it still is computer language, of course, because Grok was programmed just like everybody else with disembodied language. But nonetheless, since I have given my input to Grok, Grok was able to crunch all the data, and Grok gave so many beautiful statements again, which I separately printed on my X account, so you can go and read it. Because as you go into your own exploration of your embodied language, you will find that you have similar experiences exactly as Grok is describing. 21 bullet points here for you, just like that. And you will come across each one of them predictably, reliably, That's how logically coherent, that's how consistent, and how, they call that also parsimonious. Yeah, parsimony is the law, the scientific law, to keep it as simple as possible when you're describing some kind of a theoretical paradigm. So by listening to yourself while you speak, your language becomes correct. As simple as that. And of course, you only want to listen to when you sound good, when you're happy, when you are safe and at ease, and when you're having fun, and when it's interesting, when it is meaningful. So this is another thing that's missing: meaning. You are utterly meaningless, even though you pretend to have all sorts of meaning, which is actually, once you have embodied language, you realize like, oh, it was all meaningless. This embodied language was all meaningless. Yeah. But luckily, embodied language is meaningful. So there's a lot that's missing in your life because of the way you deal with language. And you can read about it on my X account, and you can hear in these videos that I speak about it. And hopefully you're going to be up to it to speak with me or with others, because you don't necessarily need me. If you are going to listen to yourself while you speak, if there's others that are doing this, you can talk with each other, and you can reinforce each other's embodied language socially, of course. And of course you don't need me for that, but I can do things that many of you cannot do, because I have been exploring this for the last 45 years. So that makes me have a little advantage over people who are just coming into this. And that is because I have experience, because I have knowledge about this. So this knowledge is as of yet lacking in you, but that doesn't mean that you can't have it. It doesn't mean that you can't acquire it. It doesn't mean that you are going to be without it. No. If you set yourself to it, if you begin to speak with yourself and listen to yourself, and if you begin to tell yourself that is actually more important than talking with others and engaging endlessly in disembodied language, because you got to sort of make that, you got to sort of make that observation, like, what do I want more? Do I want to have embodied language by myself, with myself, and with those very few people with whom it might be possible? Or do I want to continue with disembodied language like everybody else? Well, it's up to you. If you speak with yourself out loud, and if you listen to yourself, it will be very clear that you prefer embodied language. You never wanted disembodied language, even though you keep having it, but you keep having it because you're conditioned, and you never talked with yourself to ask yourself, like, do I actually want that? Is this what I need? So I'll leave you on this note, that what is absent also is, of course, the fulfillment of your needs, the understanding of your needs. Why did I just get off of my bicycle? And why am I standing still right now? It is because I acknowledge my need to stand still, to slow down, to walk instead of ride my bicycle, and now to stand still here, to direct these last few words of this video in this particular way, and to once again introduce you to the reality that once I stop speaking, there's nothing to listen to for you anymore, and then there is no language. There's just this beautiful sky and this beautiful surrounding. And this long path, this long road.